Okay, here we go in the grand finals of the best of 7 of the first week of the second season of the Star Circuit tournament. Boy, I'm getting better at that, huh? And we've got ourselves in game 1. Now in the bottom left we have, this would be Wallace as the Blue Infernal on a tremendously good run. I don't think he has lost a single game. No, he lost one. I think he's lost one game so far versus Senegalo, who I think he lost 2 versus MSRM, but was not deterred and was able to take that series into semifinals to get himself here into the grand finals. Now, let's see what we got here. Senegalo doing a expansion first. Now, we have seen Senegalo in many of these games. And what we have seen him do more often than not is vault into expand. So seeing him deliberately go expand first is interesting. Now at the same time, what do we have here? We've got Wallace with pretty much the same opener. Expand into vault, it seems. And then Wallace is over here with a conclave. Now, Wallace always tells me he likes to place these buildings forward. Some people build them here. He really likes them up here. He says he doesn't want to deal with that extra rally time every time units spawn. I always thought it was a bit of a, like, really, it doesn't make that much of a difference. But according to him, it does. According to other players, it does. Some players don't care too much. But, you know, he consistently does it, so he sticks to it. This is off by just a hair. Both of these are a little bit closer to the Therium and tiny bit further away from the Luminite than they could and should be. Meanwhile, Wallace, I think he's got his spot on, but I'll have to see. I want to see this rallied here, but yeah, see, his is straight line, little diagonal. So Wallace opting for the 90 degrees. And this is the kind of stuff that does make a difference. Because if you're straight 90 degrees from your Luminite, these guys mine faster because the first 2 go on the front part, and then the other 2 go on the outsides. And so you really don't want to make that run any longer. Okay. So you can see it. This one has to travel further than that top one. You can see it just by a little bit. And that stuff adds up. Because the top one is not saving any time. It's just the bottom one that has a little bit of further. See, Wallace is off by a hair on this one. I think. He might be okay. It's a little hard to see. It might be okay. Maybe it was just my camera angle. But you saw the difference on the one over by Senegalo. Anyway, enough about that. We've got Ritual Chamber going down here. And a second vault. Wallace has Ritual Chamber, but still just the 1-1, and going Hellforge. So there's a difference, right? Senegalo decided to add a vault, and Wallace decided to go for the Hellforge. So a deviation of the two. And we see another Iron Vault going down. So Senegalo preferring to delay his tech for additional production. I like it. I think they're both fair choices. Now Wallace is going to have to split this guy and run away. Or he's going to wait for it to get to, like, really low health. But maybe he's like, nah, I don't need to run. I'm coming at you with my stuff. Now, there is a big Stormgate fight that's going to happen here. We see rallies coming across the map from Senegalo. Some of these vaults just finished, so he'll probably get, like, 1 or 2 brutes from those to join the fight, but that's about it. Wallace has... They both have the Soul Branch Chakra. What the hell is it called? Yeah, Soul Branch Chakrams. Little by little, I'm starting to learn these from these casts. Soul Brand Chakrams. But there's no charge on the map. And Wallace has had this Hellforge for a while, but he hasn't started charge. Now, I'm going to say that's a big mistake. Because we have Senegalo with the extra production. And if you've got more production, but you're playing against somebody who's doing tech, but then that person with the tech didn't get the tech, then obviously the production's going to be huge. Because those chargers are going to keep chugging along, you know. These chargers are going. Wallace, where is your charge? I'm talking about charges for production. And I'm talking about the Brute Charge upgrade, which is really Infernal Fury, which he still hasn't started, which is triggering me now. Because it's clearly a mistake that's compounding the longer he forgets. It is called Infernal Fury, yep. Come on, W-less. There we go. All right, W-less did it, you guys. He started it. But he started about 2 minutes late, and by the time that Senegalo's Hellforge is almost done, the difference being Senegalo has a tremendous supply lead now because of all that extra production that he got. So this is going from bad to worse for Wallace, you guys. If you're gonna go tech, you better get the damn tech. See, look at this. Their Inferno Furies are going to finish like within 30 seconds of each other or less. And oh, man, that's so bad for Wallace. Look at all these vaults. 4, 5 versus 1, 2, 3. See, Wallace eventually gets up to 5, but it's way later. It's way later. Now, what do we got here? We do have Tier 3 Shrine on the way, and Wallace has Miasma on the way. I just don't know how useful Miasma is really gonna be. I mean, maybe. We'll see. Miasma is good versus low health units like Gaunts and Workers. Now let's see. Hellborn, like they don't have a tremendous amount of health. So it's okay. The reason it's okay versus Hellborn is Hellborn do like kind of these long fights where they can keep throwing their shots, right? And Miasma also likes long fights that kind of sit in place. So Miasma not terrible. I just don't know. I think the Hellborn are going to do better. I think the Hellborn are going to do better. As long as he doesn't sit and cook himself inside Miasmas, and he's even got an ability to clone one, he's going to save this and use it for Dragon if he can. Now, okay, Wallace does have an edge here somewhere, because this is Senegalo just now having started his Tier 3, and Wallace's Tier 3 is already done. So, Wallace has almost a full Tier 3 Dragon or Incarnate charge ahead of Senegalo, but he needs to not take massive damage for the next, like, minute or so. Wallace needs to let that Dragon come into play. And if he takes a really big bad fight here, which he might not have a choice, he might have to take this fight. But if this is a bad... Okay, it's already too late, Wallace. Just get out of here, man. Oh, and then these Hellborn. Holy, Wallace got lucky that this didn't get swallowed up. And it's a Dark Throne. So, Senegalo's lead is going to continue to balloon here. You love the Hellborn model? I do too. It's a great model. And I like it when they have their Tier 3 upgrade, which Wallace is working on, funny enough, considering he doesn't have the Hellborn count. But the Tier 3 upgrade is pretty cool. We'll have to read it when it's called like Inferno, I think. It looks cool. It makes the shot do extra damage. It makes it do a cone of damage, and it makes it apply the burn or whatever, the Inferno. It's really cool. So we have Senegalo trying to get a little bit of map vision here. Oh, look at this. I missed this. Wallace with a giant run by. Good job, Wallace. And this is that Tier 3 that coming into play for Wallace, because he was able to split the brutes and get all those fiends, right? Because once you have the... My bad, I missed that, you guys. I'm sitting there talking about the damn model. Once you have the Obsidian Horde, it'll double the amount of fiends you get when you split it. So you get 4 fiends. And then... you do get the extra 10 armor on brutes as well. That's not really coming into play right now, but that was an excellent, excellent snipe. Exactly what Wallace needed. Is it enough? Wallace finding another opening here, perhaps? This base is getting shredded. Senegalo's slightly out of position. Wallace with another fiend snipe. Wallace finding his way back into it, even getting a supply lead. Good shit, Wallace, to make a comeback like this. Holy crap, you guys. Nobody saw this coming, right? And let's see. Now, some more fiends being split. Wallace is feeling this fiend ocean here. Very cool to see. Now, where are these squads going? Are they sticking together? Oh, man, it'd be crazy if he surrounded that with the fiends. That would be insanely good. But let's see, Wallace is going in for a YOLO, running into a Magmadon. The Magmadon is sleeping on the job. No, it wakes up on the job. But, oh boy, that was a little too late. That is an Elder Shrine gone in 2 seconds. Where is this DPS for Vanguard? Where is this DPS for Celestial? Who else can just YOLO this? And like, you think that would be bad. Wallace doesn't give a shit. Because that means no incarnate. That means no dragon, you guys. Meanwhile, Wallace has the capability of popping a dragon. I know he does. He goes incarnate? Why? But okay, sure. I really would have expected dragon. Now, Magmadon here trying to put in work, but Wallace again finding an opening. Unbelievable. Sniping the base yet again. That's the 4th base he has sniped with Fiends. And like, this is going to be a big battle, but Wallace has the miasma now, so he can take the slower fight. He is, like, delaying that enemy dragon is insane, because he has to go into tier 2, then into tier 3, and then wait 2 minutes. So, Infernal players in the mirror matchup, sniping that enemy Elder Shrine is money move. That Fiend Armor Shred in IVI. I think just the Armor Shred in general is ridiculous. What up, Delaire? Now, this is actually not a fight that Wallace should want to take. Half his units were not doing anything. I mean, we do have this Incarnate kind of doing the occasional stun, I guess, but this is just an awful fight. Senegalo has a way better concave, but the miasma might be enough. With the Incarnate, though, this is like the ugliest fight Wallace could have taken. Big slam going down there, but that only stuns the unit for like a second. I mean, if Wallace wants to throw, this is how you do it. Why would you ever take a fight there like that? I mean, he's over here pushing as well. I'm not watching the whole thing, but boy, oh boy, Senegalo almost able to kind of turn that around. But Wallace, I don't know, I guess he just realized he was that far ahead. Ah, man, that felt so unnecessary. Oh, it does work on structure, but I don't think it has anything to do with Shroud anymore. I can't remember if you have to be standing on Shroud or not for the Armor Shred. I swear to God that changed a couple times. It's just as bad when you're a Vanguard, man. It feels like your buildings are deleted just as fast. Yes, you can repair with servos, and yes, you can use the Rampart habitat, which is actually the best answer versus it. But yeah, I mean, Celestial can lift off, right? And Vanguard can repair, but I'm telling you, it's pretty fucking rough, man. If you don't have a habitat ready or something, those fiends will shred you. And speaking of the devil, we have the reverse Uno card happening here, where Senegalo's like, alright, I guess I gotta do what Wallace did because I can't fight this army head on. And he's right on that. Wallace has the Storm here, also just in here, you know, pushing people back. Now this Incarnate is actually really good versus these Spriggans, so I mean, I think this is the second Incarnate, but the Incarnate is actually, maybe Wallace knows this about Senegalo, that he likes his Spriggans. Because, yeah, the Incarnate's a great answer versus that. I can't believe he won that fight. Neither can I. It's a little bit disappointing, because you would want positioning to be a little bit more important. Because how else are you supposed to make a comeback, right? Because I feel like Senegalo did just about everything he could to make a comeback there. Now, is Wallace not using the ability? He's not using the Spore Blast. There we go! There we go. That shredded the Spriggans at that. Alright, but Spriggans here, slowly but surely pushing through. Wallace needs some Shadow Flyers. He needs some more Gaunts. There we go. The Shadow Flyers are here. Just a couple Shadow Flyers here will help a lot. They at least force the Spriggans to spread out, and they can't just A-move. Now here we go. Shadow Flyers are ready for this pack. Oh, huge connections from the Shadow Flyers. Look at all the debuffs on those Spriggans. They're going to melt these Gaunts now. Some more Spriggans showing up, though. Wallace having trouble finishing the job. Somehow Senegalo has reversed the supply lead here. Wallace needs to stop pushing and just get his anti-air count up and get his Gaunt count up and get his units together. I feel like Wallace is just taking sloppy fight after sloppy fight after sloppy fight here. If he would have built some towers or some stuff as he pushed, but he probably thought the game was over. What a back and forth. Senegalo with a commanding supply lead now. And if Senegalo can take the offensive and start taking out bases, and this is it for Wallace. I mean, Wallace lost, you guys, I think. I don't see how Wallace comes back. He's got no money. So as I say, Senegalo, me being a little annoyed he wasn't able to make a comeback. Wallace doing a really bad job holding these Side attacks. Yeah, wow. What a throw. Wallace doing such a good job coming back into it with his run-bys, but then doing so bad against the run-bys on his own. We've got the deep one, we've got this, but it's just such a slow army, and Senegalo has just got the map now. Hell of a grand finals game, though. Here comes the Spriggan squad. I just think Senegalo, yeah, this is the much better choice. He has no reason to rush into a fight. He has the map. Wallace is on no bases right now. He's not mining here. He's barely mining there. No mining here. Senegalo has this if he just plays it slow. Oh, here he comes. Senegalo not playing it slow like he's supposed to. Here come the other Spriggans though. When this shows up, it is enough. It will be enough to break Wallace. Yeah. Wallace going down. It's going to be game one going to Senegalo. What a turnaround, man. I'm sure Wallace can't believe it. He's going to tell me he threw so hard. Does Wallace not realize he's got no units? GG. There he goes. On to game two. Alright, guys. Game number 2 here of the grand finals of the first week of the second season of the Star Circuit tournament. Senegalo taking the first game in this best of 7. It was a very back and forth game. It kind of like Senegalo had the lead, then Wallace had the lead, then it looked like Wallace was going to win the game, then Senegalo regained the lead, and Senegalo just won it in convincing fashion in the end. But here in the bottom left, we have our player who is down 0-1 in the best of 7 here. Wallace has the blue Inferno in the top right. We've got Senegalo, who is up a very back and forth 1 win on Wallace here in their series. Now Senegalo is just such a robust player. Like he just keeps it moving, right? I feel like it's amazing the mental fortitude that these guys can have. And I think if there's any way I would describe Senegalo, it's probably he's the player out of everybody who plays Stormgate right now. He's got the best mental fortitude. I think it's a great way to describe him. I think Refresh is the most insightful, I would say, smart player. I would say Senegalo, also very smart, but has a mental fortitude that just seems like he's never... You can never count Senegalo out. He's never going to panic. He's just a calm, scary, overwhelming type of player. I think Nyori plays a lot like Senegalo. The slow, patient, let the game come to them. Very infernal style, right? Because you have charges on your production. So it makes sense just to keep your macro flowing, let the game come to you. I will say sometimes I wish Inferno wasn't like that. I like the more aggressive Infernals. You certainly can be aggressive with Inferno. I think this is the strongest way to play Inferno, is this kind of style that we're seeing here from Senegalo. But I think it's a little bit... It lacks excitement, and I don't know if it's my ADD or personal preference or what the hell. But it's... I like players that sort of... play through aggression. I try to play that way. Not always, but yeah. Anyway, enough about me and my preferences. We've got Wallace here throwing down a Ritual Chamber. Wallace doing the exact same opener as last game. Now, we should see a Hellforge soon. The difference is, god damn it, we better see that Hellforge get used. I'm going to be mad at him if he makes that mistake twice. Meanwhile, we have Senegalo playing very similar. And you know what's funny is... The expansion pattern is even almost similar. Almost. Like where they spawned on the map and where they're moving. Let's see, we got 1, So again, we do see Senegalo getting the second vault after Ritual Chamber, and we've got Wallace doing the Hellforge after the Ritual Chamber. Man, this is a repeat of last game in my eyes in every sense of the word so far. The difference is, will Wallace start his Brute Charge, his Infernal Fury, or will he forget again? Here we go. Also, kind of a similar feeling fight. Now, a little teeny tiny fiend run by here. I like this from Senegalo. He's gonna snipe, you know, some fiends here. This is great. This is somebody who knows the matchup, right? It does look like Wallace has a little bit more here with all these gaunts. But man, what is that? 3, 4 fiends down? These, you know, or imps down? Those fiends did work, man. Because look at this. We've got 7 workers here at this base, and we've got 3. That is literally the result of those fiends. Wallace does win the Stormgate. So, interesting, right? So Wallace wins this fight. Senegalo wants the macro fight. So there's a fair. And so in my eyes, Wallace needs to trade some units in a good fashion here. Like, he doesn't even have to kill workers. If he can just trade a couple units here, he's back in this game. But he needs to use the advantage he got from that Stormgate and actually get some value. Because if he doesn't get some value from that, then I feel like Senegalo came out ahead with that worker harass. But Wallace taking it slow. See, Wallace might just be waiting for the Infernal Charge. He didn't forget it this game. The Hellforge for Senegalo is just about done. But we have to remember, the charge upgrade is a 1.5-minute upgrade. It is a 90-second upgrade. So Senegalo not starting it right after the Hellforge finishes helps Wallace. But I'm just really sad to see Wallace play it so passive there. I might have to talk with Wallace after this, not after this game, but after the series, and say, hey man, you know, he was going production and you were going tech, and you gotta try to do something with that tech. Because right now, that tech offers him nothing. The tech does nothing if you don't attack, right? Or defend with it. Meanwhile, Senegalo, you know, he's got his tech on the way. And I want to say he's got better production. 1, 2, 3, 4... 3 vaults there, 4 vault and 1 conclave versus 2 vault. Yep. So like I said, Senegalo has a production advantage. They're both taking their 5th bases at about the same time. If he had fought, he would have been surrounded. So I'm saying a short fight. Like if he would have ran up the ramp here and fought a little bit and then run away. Just try to kill like 2 brutes or anything, right? Anything to try to punch back a little bit from losing those workers. I don't feel like sitting on a Farron after taking a Stormgate fight and losing workers is the right choice, is what I'm trying to say. I'm talking a very short fight. You know, nobody had the ability to really catch each other. As soon as you see that flank come, you just run away. You're okay to run away there. I know what you're saying. If he commits to a fight too long, yes. But I'm talking a short fight. Kill 2 brutes, kill a couple gaunts, anything, and then bail.
Dimensional rift detected.
Just to punch back.
Stormgate will activate soon.
You know, you lost 4 workers, got punch back. So here we go. The nice drop here. This is a punch back attempt by Wallace. He's got an 8 gaunt drop here. Very nice. We do see some Shadow Flyers. Is a Hellspawn going to be used for more Shadow Flyers? I would use more. Wallace is out of there. Very clean trade. That was what I was talking about, though. Just a very, very clean trade. Wallace didn't lose anything. He pulls some guys off the Mineral line, right? Off of the Luminite line. And he forces some of the army back. Just that kind of punch. That's exactly the type of thing I meant for the... So Wallace did it in his own way. Don't have to do it the Dutchy way. Okay. These Magmadons here are something Wallace has to keep an eye out for. At the same time, these Miasmas are something that Senegalo has to look out for. These, you know, Gaunts are being dropped into play. Interesting situation here. Seems like a bigger army for Senegalo. Just look at the size of the Rojo. And we've got here, you know, Wallace really needs to play around these miasmas. But man, miasma, it's good. But it can also just be stepped out of. That Magmadon getting caught out. Ooh, almost getting a trample, but Wallace pulling back just in time. Now there is a second Magmadon here and a third Magmadon, and Magmadons can you consume. Now this is the surround Geomancer that would be scaring the bejesus out of me. But there are some Hexen Mines coming into play with the Phantom Traps. That was helpful to buy a little time, but the Magmadon Stomp immediately erasing those Phantoms off of planet Earth here. And so, because the Stomps just, they do that AoE. We do have these Gaunts in this still, kind of random. Oh no, Brutes, excuse me. But this is a really good surround by Senegalo. We do see some miasmas going down. I'm not convinced they're the best miasmas, but maybe. Senegalo being pushed back, actually. Wallace's Hellborn showing up. What an amazing fight by Wallace. It does seem like the miasma was good enough there. He got just enough time for those Hellborn show, but now 2 more Magmadons show up, and that's going to certainly turn the tide. No, yes, no. Magmadon stomping through, but Wallace has the Hellborn just peppering away here, and I think Wallace has the tier 3 Hellborn. I can't tell. It doesn't tell me when I click on them, and I haven't been paying enough attention, but holy shit. I don't know. Like, I need to learn more about Inferno versus Inferno, because Wallace somehow just dominating that fight. Holy shit. I guess the Magmadons just never connected. Wallace microed it very cleanly, very carefully. The classic Wallace split here on the Fiends. He's going to come and snipe this base. Now, we do see a Shroud Stone this time. You know, I always wonder, why no reaction of your own Fiends here? Why not split your own Fiends? But maybe he doesn't have Obsidian Horde yet. He sure does have Obsidian Horde. So I feel like that could have been a reaction from his own split Fiends. Decides not to do it. Meanwhile, Wallace is over here. Is he going to get the Elder Shrine? I don't know. This one's going to be close. I don't think so. I don't think the Elder Shrine's going down. Nope. So that hurts. Meanwhile, this run-by is also being deflected. So both players getting better at, like, okay, these run-bys, they cannot do enough or they cannot do the damage they did to me last game. Wallace not able to take this out, but mark my word, he's coming back for this. He's going to try to run by again. Run by over here. Oh, man, that base does look like it's going to go down. It does go down. Wallace again taking damage from a run-by here. Here we have Senegalo doing his best MSRM impression. I don't see Seismic Slam, but boy, those Magmadon are going to be big. But the Carnivex getting a stomp on the Mag... Did that stop the Magmadon stomps? He stunned the Magmadons mid-stomp and stopped the stomps, you guys. Holy, I don't know if that was intentional, but that was crazy. The Magmadon stomp getting stopped by the Incarnate Stomp. GG, well played, Wallace. We are on to game 2. This is a banger of a 7 for a mirror matchup. Let's go. Alright, you guys. Welcome to game 3 of the best of 7 grand finals of week 1 of Stormgate Circuit Season 2. There we go. Messed that one up pretty bad. Oh well. We were on a roll and I ruined it. We got a pause here? What happened? Huh. Well, it seems like everything's okay. There was a little bit of a bottleneck happening, and I don't know where. Let's see if they do the same opener again. Remember, Wallace does a 1-1 into a 1-1 tech. Now, and what I mean by that is he goes Conclave Vault, or Vault Conclave, I mean, and then he goes Ritual Chamber Hellforge. Whereas Senegalo goes 1-1 into 1 tech into a second Vault. He really delays his Hellforge, it seems. But let's see if Senegalo changes it. Both players starting the second base about the same time. Wallace a tiny bit earlier, somehow, some way. Wallace has hit Vault a lot earlier. Is this going to be a triple shrine? Senegalo with the swap up here, going for a triple shrine opener. Does Wallace find out? Alright, sorry about that. Had a little bit of an emergency message come my way. Sometimes real life gets in the way, so apologies there. We're back on track here. So we have to see if Wallace is going to get this scouted or not, because that is a much later third base. But it takes a while for something like a third base to come into effect. You don't get your macro turnaround. In fact, when you go a quick 3 base, right, you're opening a window of vulnerability where your opponent can attack you before you've received the benefits. And so it really comes down to a matter of scouting. Now, this is one of those things that I always preach people should watch replays. And you definitely want to... Okay, sorry about that. I'm still reading these personal messages here. Apologies. This is a bad cast by me. But my point was, these players should watch back their replays, and Wallace will learn, oh man, I really need to scout. Because this is something that, you scout this and you can pivot your strategy on it. See, Wallace has got his ritual chamber 3/4 done, whereas Senegalo has just started his a little bit late, so he's about halfway. There's the Hellforge that's about halfway done for Wallace now. No Hellforge. Oh, there is a Hellforge. So interesting. So when Senegalo does this, he does follow up with his tech a little faster to make up for it, it seems. I suppose that makes sense. He gets his vaults. But I'm curious, right? He's got 3 workers. Wallace has 2. I think they're about neck and neck, you guys. I think this is actually kind of turned into a bit of a wash. And this fight should favor Wallace. Not by much, but it should favor Wallace. Yeah, he's got the supply. But the longer this game goes, in theory, it should start to even out. It kind of comes down to which player throws down their 4th base now. And when they do. So this first Stormgate is definitely going to Wallace. Senegalo is conceding it. I wonder what Wallace does with this Stormgate, because this could be a big deal for the game. Remember, I do think Senegalo eventually will be in a good spot. Okay, so I call this an aggressive Stormgate. But again, Wallace is not using it aggressively. I guess it's fine defensively as well. Like, it's hard to push into this guy. So that's an interesting take, actually. And it's also funny that Wallace got his 4th down before, and this happens sometimes, right? You get that early 3rd, and as a player, you're like, man, I better not die because I got this early 3rd. And then because of that, they actually take a later 4th than they should. And meanwhile, Wallace is working on his 4th. So despite having the later 3rd, Wallace has an earlier 4th. And Wallace knows that he's sitting in a good spot, right? He just got a great scout. He knows, hey, my 4th is earlier than my opponent. This is good. Wallace is in a good spot. Now, I like this split attack because that's good by Senegalo, because he needs to find a way to punch himself back into this game. Now, Senegalo pulling the entirety of Wallace's army here while it's being attacked. Will Wallace recognize? Wallace does recognize that it's a multi-prong. Good stuff by Wallace to recognize it. But, oh man, this is a bigger squad for Senegalo than Wallace has to handle. This Hellborn will help a lot, though. This Hellborn peppering, but he needs a little more. He needs to take a little bit more of this. Senegalo is going to beat this army. Wallace has to be careful. If Wallace loses this base, that is a really, really rough situation. And I think that is exactly what Senegalo is itching to get done here. And Wallace now adjusting his army. Senegalo is going to take this base, though. Great play by Senegalo. Wallace just mismanaging the splits of his army there, having the stronger clump on the wrong side. Now, Senegalo says, whoop, let me just scooch right by you here and get my own 4th base. So, evening the game out. But Wallace with a slight supply lead, because during those trades, Wallace was trading slightly better. Just slightly better. The economic damage was worth it for Senegalo. He got the job. He got himself back in this game, but I think Wallace is outpacing him with the tech now. He's already working on miasma, miasma is a hell of a drug. Ooh, these Hellborn getting caught, though. Oh, shit. That's really good for Senegalo. I mean, these Hellborn are going to go down, which sucks for Wallace. Wallace does not see this, I think. But Wallace taking a huge convincing fight over here. Oh man, this is crazy. This is close. These Gaunts are going to have to kite. The Gaunts are kiting. But man, Senegalo catching Wallace with his pants down with that flank. Senegalo with an amazing fight there. Wallace getting completely caught out. What a good play by Senegalo. Wallace is going to be kicking himself in the butt for that one. Wallace is not noticing his Hellborn getting caught out. That's just such a shame. Mistake that players at this level shouldn't make. Gives me hope. Gives me hope that I one day can be in this match, you guys. One day. When I see players making mistakes, I go, I avoid those mistakes. I can do this. And then I get on that hopium copium just to lose on the ladder versus much worse players. I'm obviously kidding. These guys are way better than me. I could take a game off of these guys here and there, but if we do like a 10-game series, I'll be lucky to win like one game versus these guys. Nah, I'll give myself some credit. I'll win 2 games. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe I win 0. I've played a lot of games against Wallace, though. I know I can. On a good day, I can give him a run for his money. I kind of know his style. I've played so much against him. Wallace and I used to be practice buddies. We haven't done that much lately, though. I've been busy actually like working on the game with the implementation team. I don't get to play enough. Also working on a side quest with Delirious. If you've seen my YouTube channel, you already know what I'm talking about with the creep camps. We've been working hard on that. We got some cool new stuff coming out for that. I'm really excited. Delirious has been cranking away, improving the camps. And I've been doing that too, I guess, but he's been the one really championing the effort this week. I've been testing games and providing data. So I guess it's still a good team effort. Alright, we've got a big push coming in here. Wallace is going to have some God mode miasmas. There's a huge miasma there. I'm looking at the minimap. This seems to be the only fight, so I can stay zoomed in for now. Okay, Wallace with a nice little split force here. Senegalo with a nice split force here. Oh man, this is going to be interesting. That's a huge wall of Hellborn. These Magmadons are going to get shredded. These Weaver pulls were really good, but Senegalo is going to hard win this. This was just an amazing fight. Those Weavers showing up, yeeting those. Oh, we got another Magmadon going in just to get stomped, just to get absolutely shredded by these Hellborn. I mean, this is just Senegalo's game for sure here. See, right there, that hold for Senegalo is the hold that Wallace needed to perform earlier, where the split of units was the right amount in the right spots. Delirious says, been bug fixing resource camps and mechanics all week. Oh yeah. Hey, it's looking good now though, dude. Your work paid off. They're almost perfect now. They almost look like they were implemented by like the company itself, you know, not just a bunch of us ragtag, you know, I'll call us like rogue developers here. I'm not a developer, you guys are. I dare not give myself that word. Senegalo, I'm sorry I'm not casting too hard on this, but it just seems like Senegalo is in a bit of a move situation with the lead he has. He just has to do the damage he can, regroup, and push again. Do the damage he can, regroup, and push again. Rinse, repeat, GG, on to game 4. Wallace is trying, but it's just not enough. That number of Hellborn is just too high. And Miasma is good and has its moments. But versus these like Hellborn and Magmadon comps, they don't do that much. At the same time, Wallace is not dead yet. Man, that Magmadon, is it gonna chomp? Is it gonna chomp for consume? I want to see players use that more. Maybe the consume needs to do more damage. You're not a developer, you just have aspirations to be one. But I think in terms of capabilities, I'd be willing to categorize you more as a developer than me. Maybe not officially, but it feels not okay for me to call myself that, but I think it feels, based off of what I've seen you do, man, I think you're more allowed to call it that than I am, is all I'm trying to say. Moving swiftly on. Senegalo just continuing to, you know, deal some blows here. Just not letting Wallace back into this game. We're just seeing a masterclass of get ahead and stay ahead from Senegalo here. This is what I mean by being a slow, robust player. Look at that. Fiends don't take any damage from Miasma because they can't get cursed. And Miasma only amplifies curse damage. Miasma applies and amplifies curse. But if the curse can't get applied, it can't get amplified. Two big fights happening here. Spriggans. I think Senegalo has enough to win both fights. Wallace getting really clumped up here too. Yeah, this is going uncontested. The Incarnate here, Big Daddy Stomp. Gets a Consume even on its way out. That was pretty awesome. Wallace with a pretty fucking good hold here though. But the Spriggans are for sure just tearing his life apart. Yep. And we've got the Remax and the stream, this parade of death coming across the map. Good try by Wallace on the hold there. Look at that Consume, healing faster than he's taking damage. The Incarnate just not dying. GG, well played. Game 3 goes to Senegalo. Alright, we have got Game 4 of this best of 7, where Senegalo is up a pretty convincing 2-1. I do feel like Senegalo is the favorite here, even though Wallace had an amazing Game 2 to get it to a 1-1 series. Game 3 was a convincing win from Senegalo. It looked like Wallace had a really nice start, but Senegalo doing a nice push in the mid game, and then doing an excellent defense in the late game was just too much for Wallace to handle. Now, taking a quick look at this, I love this energy effect that seems to be coming from these effigies. These effigies used to be really boring looking, but look at this awesome pulse animation. That looks nice. There's even like a little fire through it. Man, anyway. Sometimes you gotta stop and smell the flowers, you guys. Alright. God damn. I like the blue ones. The red looks cool too, but the blue just makes that fire pop a little bit and the red circle pop a little bit more. Yeah, that looks cool, man. And it's a light touch. It's not overwhelming like visual clutter. I think that was Culp who did that, so I'm not sure. Maybe that was Alan and Culp, but either way, it looks great. Well, it seems like Wallace has the recipe. He's sticking with it. And we've got Senegalo. Now, Senegalo last game did that 3 shrine that seemed to have paid off. That graph from last game really showed the effect of the assault on Wallace. It sure did, didn't it? I bet that timing, that drop was directly from when that base died. I almost guarantee you. I kind of knew that was game when that happened. Kind of felt like it was. So we've got the third, a little bit slower from Senegalo versus Wallagano. Wallace is about half a base ahead of him on the production there. Guess I can see it up here too. Right, diagonal. And Senegalo's got a much faster ritual chamber. So Curse takes about, or the Soul Brand Chakram takes about 60 seconds. But if Senegalo starts that research right away, There we go. He will have this for just about that first Stormgate fight, right? The Stormgate spawns at about 3:30, and 3:35, I think, to be exact. And then you're not going to take it in 10 seconds. And if your opponent is there to push you off of it, you're certainly not going to take it, or at least to contest you a little bit, you're certainly not going to take it in 10 seconds. So the curse should come into play for Senegalo in this first fight. Now, Wallace, not even having started his Soul Brand Chakrams yet, but he did start a Health Forge. So this is the second game now where Wallace seems to be forgetting to start his tech, and boy, he just starts it now. So like I said, we're going to see if the Curse and the Soul Brand Chakrams comes into play. Now, I would love to have seen Senegalo chop these trees down and build a Tribute Pyre to help with the fact that he has Curse, right? I think this is the perfect map and perfect Stormgate spawn for that. Now, there comes the Curse. He does hit Wallace with it. So he's able to zone Wallace. Wallace can't take this. So maybe what I was suggesting was just overkill. You would have wasted a worker and placed a Tribute Pyre in the middle of the map for no reason, just because Duchy overthinks things. So, but we did see the Soulbrand Chakrams come into play. Wallace saw he was being cursed and wisely backed up. Now, I will almost guarantee you, well, I'm going to say this is going to turn into workers this game. But it could turn into a second Hellborn. But I would say turn this into workers. You won the first Stormgate fight, now get the macro going too. Do it on workers. I want to see it. He's either going to do that or a Hellborn. One or the other. They're both great choices. Since he's still saving it, I'm going to say it's going to be saved for a Hellborn. Even these things have a cool animation. They have the glowing blue under them. They're kind of fumigating some heat. And they kind of have this homogeneous blobby color, but you kind of want them to look different than everything else. You want them to sort of have that so that they don't look like a regular unit, no matter where they kind of are, right? You just kind of comprehend it. Oh, holy shit. Look at the spider web of wires on this thing. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4 bases here from Wallace, and it looks like he's already taken his 5th. I've seen a lot of players do that. Right when their 4th is done, they already take their 5th. 4 equals 5. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. It's kind of a little bit different. It seemed like Senegalo had a faster 4th, but the 5th was about the same time. I don't know. It's pretty close. The supplies are pretty much dead even. Looking at the techs here, the tech seems about even. Everybody's got the same tech. I think Senegalo is actually about to have the Reaper's Rush finish, though. Meanwhile, Wallace has... I don't know, it just feels like Senegalo's ahead. Senegalo's a little bit ahead. He's outpacing him just by a hair. But in the mirror matchup, when you're outpacing your opponent by a hair, it feels like you're outpacing him by a mile. This is about as close of a game as it gets, though. Now, Wallace has gotten ahead on supply. Maybe he just burned some Hellspawn? I don't know. Wallace getting Seismic Slam. Everybody MSRMing a little bit.
A Stormgate. Enemy forces have begun to secure a Stormgate.
Huge fight going down. Wallace coming in, but too late to contest the Stormgate. That's not what Wallace wants. What's the Stormgate reward going to be? It is the unstable Necrolist, so Wallace definitely can't fight into those. He's going to have to kite this out. Senegalo with an incredible fight there. He's got Wallace on the run. And this is not what you want to have happen when you've got the Hellborn numbers is getting pushed back. Seismic Slam, huge Seismic Slam. That was actually massive. That stopped like half of Senegalo's army, but wasn't enough. Now Wallace stopping the other half with Magmadon trampled. So Wallace with a great punch back there. Damn, that was intense back and forth, but Senegalo still ahead by a good number on the supply. Oh man, I wonder if he meant to start a base here and it didn't happen. 5. Yeah, Wallace is red now. I must be confusing you, sir. We see the tier 3 Brute and Hellborn upgrade going down. So that's Obsidian Horde and Inferno, I believe. And we've got the tier 3 Magmadon, which is Demon Hoof what is it? Well, I was way off. Raging Tendons. And then we've got, so it was Raging Tendons and I think it was Obsidian Horde. Yep. So Wallace focusing on the Hellborn upgrade first, whereas Senegalo focused on the Magmadon upgrade first. And boy, they do move fast, don't they? I love that we started to see Magmadon some more. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I missed this. So there was a fight happening there. Oh, no, that was a split of the Brute. So Senegalo over here doing the current, patent run-by that we've been seeing from the play. I love this Magmadon popping there as the reaction. That's awesome. What a cool reaction from the players. Now, Senegalo has forced a good chunk of Wallace's army out of position here. This is an awkward situation. These trees and these chokes make this such a hard base to fight into. Meanwhile, Senegalo going in with another run-by, finding an opening here. Finding an opening, taking down the shrine. Oh, Senegalo with a huge blow. And taking out this base. Senegalo is looking to go up 3-1 here. What a play. Just an outplay. Oh my god, these Weavers are not... That huge tramples coming in. Oh, sorry about that. From Senegalo, getting those Magnuts in the middle of the... This is just an epic fight from Senegalo. That was the best fight we've seen him take. I mean, look at this. He's got like a 3-prong surround. He's got Spriggans. Holy shit, what a wipe. Oh, Wallace with the panic stomps. Oh no. Is that Wallace or is that Duchy? I shouldn't insult Wallace by comparing him to me. Wallace is better than Duchy. Duchy would not have lasted 10 minutes. Wallace doing what he can to hold on, but it's just too much. GG, well played. Game 3 goes to Senegalo. Senegalo 1 win away from the grand champion of this week. This is game... I got so distracted by the lobby issues. I apologize, guys. I'm having too much fun here just hanging out with y'all. This is game 5 of the best of 7. Potentially the last game if Senegalo wins it, because he is up 3-1. We've got Wallace in the bottom right, sticking with his fast expand 1-1 all day, every day. Wait, double vault this time. Wallace on the ropes, looking like, oh baby, if he spawns, or if Wallace scouts this, and this is triple shrine into a shrine 2 vault, Wallace has to scout this. If he scouts this, he doesn't attack and he can win. Wallace better get in here. What is this all about? He's harvesting Therium though. This makes me think he's just looking for a big brute timing. So Senegalo is probably going to get away with it. That's the second time now that Senegalo has gone triple shrine where Wallace hasn't scouted. I wonder if that's a something to look into. I think Wallace, there's 2 games, 3 games maybe that if he would have scouted a little earlier, he could have catered his style. But we are seeing Wallace really focusing on the... I think he's going to do a big brute charge timing. And that might still be enough. Like, it very well could still be enough. In fact, it should be if he does it correctly and commits. If he commits enough to this, it's definitely enough. Because you just don't win against a mass brute charge timing if you don't have it your own. It's one thing if you did it off a 2-base hold, but off a 3-base hold, I don't know. Curse is not going to do it. You kind of need Brute and Hellborn if you don't have Brute charge. That's really the way, because you'll out-sustain the fight eventually with your DPS. As long as that Hellborn can keep shelling away at the Brutes. Because they do bonus damage versus heavy, and Brutes are heavy, so... See? Biological and heavy.
Dimensional rift detected. A Stormgate will activate soon.
Zap, 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 zap. Zap, 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 zap.
Enemy forces have begun to secure.
Alright, Brute charge not quite done, but this is a handful of Brutes. How does this go down? So somehow, someway, Senegalo looking like he's got this scary army here, but then these 3 Brute show up. If this Brute charge finishes, Wallace will just swarm him here and take him out. He needs that. He needs that, and he needs to be able to get on the far side. Now, these gaunt ricochets are hitting the Stormgate and weakening these 2 Brutes. Look at that. Because those Brutes were really close to it. Charge is done. Here it is. Charge is done. Wallace knows it. This is it. Wallace needs to do this. Huge flank. There you go. That was exactly what Wallace needs. Senegalo is able to squeeze out with a lot of these Brutes, though. That wasn't quite the damage Wallace needed it to do, I think, but it was decent. Wallace didn't lose a single unit, and he cleaned up all those gaunts. Algorithm is liking the zap, zap, zap. Yeah. And sometimes you just get lost in the sauce, man. What can I say? Alright, let's see it here. The Farron is a wise choice. Wallace has to push. And Senegal, I love this. I love that he responds with, where is it? The Tribute Pyre. Where the fuck is this? I see the... Why can't I see it? Is this it here? Where? What? Am I crazy? Oh, it's over here. God, I couldn't see it. What an interesting spot. I was looking for that. I was going to say, I love that he's responding with a tower here. Man, that is a cool spot up there. Man, Senegalo finding a way to hold this. That is such a cool spot. You'd think that Wallace could just slam into this repeatedly, but no. Ah, I love this kind of stuff. This is like the big brain stuff right there. Healing up his units. He could be doing that in the Void Heart Shrines as well. So Void Heart Shrines, you guys, they're interesting because they give health and energy, but they don't give it at like 50% of their normal rates. They give the same health that a healing wellspring has. They give the same energy. It's just added to each other. They're crazy good. Celestial should abuse this more. You fight with your Argents in that, and you're not losing to anything. Not in the early game. Wallace getting a scout here. So Wallace has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bases. Senegal has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, wow. Wallace a 2-base lead on Senegalo. When did that happen?
Dimensional rift detected.
I don't get IVI. I gotta admit it. I don't understand. Because Senegalo held this base
A Stormgate has
very cleanly. I don't know, you guys. It's pretty close still, though.
enemy forces have begun to secure a Stormgate.
Wallace is such a greedy player, though. Okay, so this is a really nice snipe by Wallace. Senegalo thought for sure... See, Wallace is afraid of the surround. He's learning to respect Senegalo. Senegalo was expecting Wallace to try to attack one of his bases. So that's why he didn't use his whole army.
Have begun to secure a Stormgate.
I think this was a mistake by Senegalo, though. This is just a throwaway of units. And Wallace's lead is going to, you know, balloon from that. Look at this fucking... Look at this Weaver. You've got it. He's going to have to kill that Tribute Pyre. Yeah, okay, he sees it. That's good for him. That fucking Weaver was just humping this ramp edge. Look at this fucking... No, he stopped it again. No, Wallace, you forgot. Oh my god, this Weaver is forever doomed. Like, this is a really cool wall that Wallace did. Wallace? Wall ace? He is the wall ace. And then he, but then he Wallaced himself. Huge run by from Senegal. I've been waiting for this. Wallace is not ready for this. Not at all. A completely naked base with a wide open side for these fiends. And then over here, Senegal trying to do a run by on this side to do God knows what. Well, at least Wallace can build his base right back. Is that what he's going to do with use that for? Too bad it has to travel all the way over there. He should make another Weaver and just yoink it out. Delirious, you know, we're not all, but he did make another Weaver. But it got trapped as well. Oh, shit. Okay, we got a huge, huge fiend run by here. Wallace is just going to get shredded yet again. These players are so greedy. Build your goddamn towers. Build them against the thing if you have to. You can't over-defend, I get that, but my lord. This shit has got to stop. There it is. The Titans are free. The Fiends get cleared up. Wallace is still ahead on supplies, somehow at max 300, but he's got to stop taking damage from these run-bys. From a different conclave. Yeah, I know, dude. It's just hilarious. That was just hilarious. Alright, huge battle here. I'm looking on the map. I don't see any run-bys this time. No real flanks. Wallace keeping his army spread out, saying, you're not flanking me this time. But man, Senegalo pushing back. Now Wallace is going to get time to punch back. Gigantic Incarnate Daddy joining the back end of the fight. Le Bomba Stompa. It misses everything. Those Magmadons got to do full stomps. It missed. Wallace is looking like he's got a huge fight in his favor here. But Senegalo with the reinforcements. Oh man, this is a crazy fight. Senegalo looking like he's stabilizing, but some Magmadon and the Weaver showing up. Did Big Daddy Incarnate still at full health though? Oh my god, Senegalo with a convincing win on this fight. Big stomp from Daddy Carnivec, or Incarnate. God damn, that thing has a big stomp. Wall is getting shredded here though. It looked like Senegalo's got this in the bag. And it's going to be a 4-1. Oh man, if that first game, you have to imagine if that first game that went back and forth a bunch went to Wallace, what would happen to this series, right? It's a best of 7, but that game 1 can make a big difference. Senegalo with just the classic Senegalo hold. He's so good at those fights. And getting this damage done with these Fiend run-bys, I think this is really what has killed Wallace in the end, is these Fiend run-bys have just been devastating. Wallace did it first in game 1 and seemed like he had it figured out. Okay, that was kind of a wasted... Oh, but look, Senegalo with the surround this time. Big Daddy Incarnate not going down either, and he's got this in the bag. He's got a Stormcaller he's not even using there. Now he's using it. Doesn't even need to. It was actually a complete waste. Wallace not down and out yet, but look at the supply difference. Like the army, it doesn't feel so bad, right? But then the supply difference, because you've got this kind of stuff going down, where bases are just being shredded and shredded and shredded. Senegalo, man, just top Inferno right now. MSRM is up there too, though, and so is Wallace, obviously. But I just feel like Senegalo is the king of Inferno right now, and maybe even the king of Stormgate. Refresh has a run for his money with Senegalo. All right, Wallace taps out. Senegalo wins 4-1. Congratulations. Great series. Awesome back and forth games. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Have a good one. Bye-bye.